Welcome!
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's a 2020 reference for y'all, and if you didn't know, it's still 2020.
God.
It feels like forever.
I just got out of a month of quarantine.
Yes,
He's back. Look at this beautiful
He's
boy.
back.
He grew a beard, grew a hair,
He grew hair.
grew his fingers out to play more games.
That's so creepy. Why are you doing this? Okay, great. Well, this is our second first impressions video. No, because that sounds like it's going to be for the same game as the first.
No, it's our second
No,
first.
okay. Second first impressions video, Tungaru. Stay tuned. Here we go with Tungaru. We played it once now. We recently just received it from Kickstarter. Got the deluxe version. So you are playing as Pacific Islanders, traveling around, spreading your culture around the Tungaru Islands. This is a dice placement game in which you will be recruiting islanders to your team, your village to kind of give you bonuses, points, build a mini engine throughout the game.
Yep.
So we're not going to really go into a whole overview. We'll do that video later once we actually play it a little bit more. We just kind of want to give our first thoughts of where this is. From my first look at the game and when I was trying to learn it, I was very apprehensive.
Yeah.
I know we kind of talked about it a bit before we started playing, but a welcome surprise. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, it's if you look on BGG right now, it's getting not hammered, but it doesn't have the best like glowing reviews. A lot of people saying it outstays its welcome, or it's just really monotonous and you're trying to do the same thing over and over again. But I agree. I had more fun with this than I thought I would. Especially, I read the whole rule book, and I'm reading it. I was like, this seems like bland bread. This seems like bread without toast or butter.
The rule book's not great, and especially the way it seems like it's gonna play through. It seems like pretty like choppy and like doesn't flow good. But then the actual gameplay flows pretty. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was a little worried as you were playing, trying to figure out like this doesn't feel like there was a strong like directions to go. Like it doesn't immediately click to you to go, okay, these are some different directions that I could possibly take my strategy. But as we kind of like got towards the end of the game, you started realizing how I'm going to start getting all these points and how that's going to build up. We started kind of thinking of, oh, maybe next game that I try playing, I'm going to go for this particular strategy. As you started to figure out, oh, here's where maybe a strategy lies.
Right.
As we've played several rounds, and realizing where an engine can possibly come from.
You're using dice placement to kind of build this sort of engine to get resources to buy settlers, and the settlers are going to be worth the points at the end of the game. And they all score differently depending on which guy you get. So I think one or two turns in this game, it all kind of clicked, and we were like, oh, we've made horrible mistakes. And then the game sort of seemed to make sense. And it ended up being a lot crunchier than I thought.
There's a lot of good decision space in the game. And like Ryan was saying too, we kind of, after the game was over and we were doing the scores, it became more of like, oh, I see a strategy to do next time. And just to emphasize this, because it made me very upset, I'm going to look at all three cameras for this one. Don't do the flower strategy. It's not worth it. You think it's going to be a cool set collection thing and give you a bunch of points, but it gave me the least amount of points out of all my bonuses, and it took 5 tiles to get me 11 points.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it.
I think, I mean, I got a lot of points from like all the settlers, but I think had I tried to focus on maybe 3 different types of scoring settlers, I could have gotten a lot more points from them. If you sort of just, well, like we were saying, the strategy, just focusing on certain, like, get as many of the settlers that'll give you points for having out your workers, your little guy, your 3 little guys.
Those were super powered.
Because Max, what did you get from how many points? 39, because they were each worth 11,
12
13
points.
13 points
13
each.
points
each,
each.
yeah, that's right.
So yeah, if you almost like focus on 1 or 2 of those, you can net yourself a lot of points.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
if you focus on it, because like all my other ones only got me like 10 points though. So even like with the flower, but I mean, it didn't take me 5 tiles to get 10 points. So I think
Yeah.
that's where you because Ryan won by 5 points. I was 5 points behind him, and then Keegan was a little bit below me.
I was winning the whole game, and then I lost by 20 points.
Yeah.
And Ryan was in dead last the whole game, and he ended up winning. Which is cool.
Asterisk winning.
Asterisk
we let him. We let
Asterisk
him.
winning,
We
yes.
let him.
I understood how the scoring was going.
I mean, but it's cool though that like it's not like one of those games where you can just see like, oh, obviously they're the runaway, they're just gonna win the game. What's the point? Like you really don't know. And I like games a lot. Like I like the fact there's a victory point tracker. I'm thinking about this now because I just played Rococo recently as well, and Rococo has a victory point tracker, but you don't score points really in that game until the very end. There's like very, very small ways you can get maybe 1 or 2 points during the game. But this game, you can really rack up points during the game. Like, I got half my points during the game. Because of, like, one tile, I could spend 2 fish to get 12 points.
Yeah,
Which is cool.
Like, I would think this game would become a little bit, I mean, just from playing it once, if looking at the board, I'd be like, okay, there'd be a way to probably math out the best direction to go every time, but then it does come with modular tiles that you can lay over the board to change up how it works.
Yeah.
And
Which I can't remember.
Yes, without those tiles, this game, the replayability kind of, it falls off hard.
Yeah.
It could easily fall
I
off
can't
hard.
remember, too, with those tiles if they were only for Kickstarter or we just got extras from the Kickstarter. I know it's
I'm
one
sure
or the
some
other.
of them, there's some extra ones that the Kickstarter Deluxe came with as just like stretch goals.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look because I don't remember.
But yeah,
I kickstart too many to remember all the different stretch goals on each game.
I think it says 2 to 5. I think 3's pretty good. I don't
3
know.
felt good.
I think
5
5 would
might
be a
get
lot.
a lot.
4
There might be a lot going on.
But I mean, that's just I'd play it at 4, but
But you have another side of the board, and the island's bigger
Right, yeah,
on the
it's
other
okay.
side.
Oh, okay, right.
So that's just the 2
There's a
3 player
double-sided,
side.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot like even just reading the rules, I thought, oh, it's dice placement, but there's not like necessarily so many options, but it's like you really have to plan your moves out and think a lot more than I thought you would have to in this game, especially for the weight it says on BGG. It seems like it's weighted lower, but
it's weighted about the same as Architects of the West Kingdom, but it definitely has a bit more
Crunch.
crunch in it, and a bit of timing in it too.
I
more than
was
Architects.
surprised that you had kickstarted, because when you said we were going to play this, I was like, I didn't even know you kickstarted that. I think I looked at it and just passed it, but having played it, I'm like, I wanted to play it again right away. So.
The only reason I kickstarted is because it's one of the same designers as Rococo, and I backed it strictly on the pedigree of the designer. But I have to say 2 things I was just thinking about when you guys were talking is like I like with the dice.
Bless your soul.
Whoa. I was gonna say with like the dice placement, I like with the game, you can feel like you get screwed out of a die roll. In the games like with dice placement, you can feel like you get screwed out of a die roll. But in this game, only the first player rolls the dice and everyone else has to match what they rolled.
Yes.
So it balances out in a way that way where everyone has the same numbers they have to work with. Maybe your section of the island, those numbers suck, but everyone has the same numbers.
Yes.
And then also, I gotta say, the retail version of this is gonna be very, very poor compared to the deluxe version.
The
Because
deluxe almost feels like should be a retail version.
Especially nowadays with like how good games are getting when it comes to production and pieces. Like we played our last first impression, our previous one was Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yes.
And the pieces in that game feel like deluxe components, but it is just the retail game. And this game, like, it has these really nice, like, monuments that you put on the board and these, like, with screen printing and all this stuff. And the retail one is just wooden cubes.
But even the deluxe version of this doesn't even feel that deluxe. Like you said, it feels like that should have been the retail version. Like the player mats were
like they have these
flimsy.
Okay, so we've discussed some of the actual mechanics and play. This is separate thoughts of just us complaining about component quality and our snootiness when it comes to it, I guess.
As we've said in plenty of reviews, board gamers these days are very spoiled, so it's very easy to say we don't like this because of comparing it to everything else that's coming out.
Yes, take this, our review here, our thoughts on components with grain of salt. We really like upgraded components, so if you do too, we're going to let you know about these components. I really love upgrades. So looking at this, I really love the wood screen prints. Yeah, the workers, the totems,
The
the
resources.
resources. Yeah, but then they have these flimsy player mats.
Yep.
And what else? The dice were just basic plastic ones. We thought they were going to be nice wood ones too.
The renderings on the Kickstarter made the dice seem like they're gonna be like these nice, thickish wooden ones. Same issue that the Feudum Kickstarter had. Everyone thought those were gonna be nice little wooden chunky dice, but they weren't.
Yeah.
Well, even
boats.
the boats are pretty, like, they just feel like they're like 3D printed pieces
Yeah.
of plastic.
It feels like
Yeah.
someone at home like made them, and then they just threw it in the box for you.
But
Yeah.
it's, I mean, like, the gameplay's pretty solid, I felt.
The gameplay's great. Yeah, it feels really good.
There's quite a few games that like we've played, and I'm like, like it doesn't really stick with you particularly. But after this first play, I was like, oh yeah.
I gotta say too that with components, big surprise that Ryan saw that I forgot about that you didn't see, Max. There's no punch board. Everything
no
comes in
punch
the
board.
box pre-punched,
Oh,
That was
weird.
very
which
nice.
is super nice.
Yes.
I like punching. Like while we were setting this up, I just punched out my birthday present from Ryan, which was Castles of Tuscany. And I was having fun organizing it while you guys were setting up cameras. Like, they robbed you of the joy of punching the game.
I don't know. I prefer if I could not have it. I like.
Oh,
it.
I love
That's
punching
elsewhere.
games.
Also, the tiles are nice too because they're glossy. They have like this
Yeah,
nice
I do
weird
notice
double glossy thing on it where like the background's glossy, but then the islander on the tile too is like this other layer of gloss, so it
Yeah.
like pops
Yeah, that
off
was
the
cool.
tile.
Yeah.
It's
So
super
it was
nice.
like a
So I
weird,
think
it was
it's
like a
just-
weird mix. Of
Yeah,
like,
it's this
Yeah,
weird
good.
mix of just like if you're gonna do that much, just
Go
go all the way.
all the
Just
way.
finish it. Just finish. Just make a nice double layered
Yeah.
board.
I wonder
player
maybe
board
they
would get
didn't
so
reach
nice.
the stretch goals they thought. Like,
No,
I
they
know
hit-
in certain-
maybe-
I know
they
in
hit
certain
everything.
games-
Yeah, they
Oh.
hit everything.
They hit
Okay.
everything.
I really wish they had just done that. That maybe had they could have done wooden boats would have just felt really nice with the theme. I think the theme like it just hits. It's just like this early culture like spreading out these islands, right? It just like on theme, just everything wood.
Yeah, if everything
I
was
just-
wood.
Is just a personal thing now.
But what was the price point? Was it like pretty affordable, or was
yeah,
it like?
Yeah,
it wasn't
Or
horrible.
was it like
It was
a
a good price.
$90
No,
deluxe
no,
version
no.
Kickstarter?
I want to say it was around. It
Because
was
maybe that's why.
It was
It was
somewhere
a deluxe.
around.
It was a
50
retail retail priced game.
It was somewhere between 50 and 60, but I don't think it was more than that.
Yeah.
It's like the price is very good. But I mean, this will be a future video 100%. But I am so over Kickstarter. Like I'm done with Kickstarter. The only thing I'm backing ever again are leader games because they give you what they promise.
Yeah.
And any game that I see that I'm like I'm interested in this, but doesn't have a Kickstarter exclusive or you can only get this through Kickstarter. Like I'm so over that like model.
Yep.
And this is my last game I'm
That's-
backing that has that model.
And that was our side rant in our
Yeah.
first impressions video.
Yep.
Let's turn more into a review.
Yes.
Sorry. I had to.
But it's the
just
first impressions. I need to play again. I want to play with some of those extra tiles that kind of vary it up.
Yeah, I do too. I want to
but
play on
I
the
mean-
other side of the board too with more players and see what that
Yes.
feels like.
So yeah, first maybe 2 turns, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to keep it. I definitely want to keep it now after
Yeah.
playing the full because I do realize how crunchy it is and how interesting some of the strategy could get. So yeah.
Yeah.
Very positive for me.
A very apprehensive to positive experience playing this through the first play.
Yep. It was,
Definitely give it a try.
it was
Yeah,
a
and
definite
don't-
nice growth.
Maybe we could even, I don't know, we'll have to talk, but I mean, there's not very much, I like trying to like read, I usually watch a video where I think there's a John Gets Games, but don't be turned off by the rule book.
Yeah.
Because it's not the greatest, it's not horrible, but it kind of put all 3 of us putting our heads together to work out
Yeah.
exactly what was going
Yeah.
on.
And not only does the rulebook not totally, it's like decent, it's fine, but it doesn't sell the game. Like you're reading the rulebook, and you're like,
yeah.
that's the mechanic, okay. Yeah. But when you
Yes.
play it all, that playing the game makes you want to keep playing the game.
Yes.
Yeah, and the mechanics
several-
kind of gel together a lot more
Yeah.
than they do on the page. They gel
Yeah.
more together in the game.
I know this is probably going to get comparisons to Bora Bora, just because it's like island themed and there's dice involved. You can't really compare them because it's different designers in different games. Personally, I don't like Bora Bora. I didn't like it. But this game I do like. So if you really want an island themed game and want to play an island game, if you can find this one, get this one. In my opinion, it's good.
I haven't
very
played
good.
Bora Bora yet. I need to because it's Stefan Feld.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely say try it.
Yep.
Give it 2 tries, definitely. I think it'll definitely grow on you. That's my verdict.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah,
Try
overall
it.
positive so
Yes.
far.
So not completely disappointed. So that was good.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I'm
we'll
very
be-
glad that turned around.
So there'll be a
That
review in the
thought.
future, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, we
once we
will.
actually play this a couple more times, we'll do a future. And I think future games we do, we'll just do more first impressions and play them a little bit more than we have on some of our review videos, just to give an even better in-depth review.
I agree. It'd be cool too to do like a game like we do like the first impression, and then we will play more, review it, and then maybe do like a 6 months later we played this some more. How do we still feel about the game?
Yes.
Like a catch up in a way. Like just do like a quick like we played this 5 more times. We still like it. We played this a few more times. We still kind of like it. Like
Yeah. Let us know if that's something
Yeah.
you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
I'm gonna go watch Moana now.
You're welcome. You're welcome.